Hey Beans, it's Jill, and as you probably know, I volunteered in Puerto Rico this summer, and I wanted to share my experience with you so badly. So I'm going to be doing a week in the life of a volunteer in Puerto Rico. So I'm basically just going to be following one day and changing some of the scenarios because our day-to-day schedule was very similar to one another. We basically did the same thing. Most of our days were working and we had a strict schedule, and our only free time was in the night, and then I'll share with you my weekend. But we were able to wake up at whatever time we wanted to, as long as we were on the bus to our work site at 6:45. So breakfast was served every morning at 6:30, and in the beginning of my trip I used to wake up at 6 a.m. to be there right on time. But as time went on, I realized that that was not gonna work for me. So I ended up waking up at 6:30 every single morning. And normally my roommate would be sleeping in a little bit later than me, or she would get up with me and we would just get dressed, you know. So once I was already dressed, I headed downstairs and ate breakfast at around 6:45-ish. Probably no later than 7 ever, even though there were people who did that. So for breakfast, we would normally have scrambled eggs, avena, which is like oatmeal but kind of blended up to a smoother consistency. We had sausages. Some days we had like egg and cheese sandwiches with bacon on the side and like juice. So that's what we would have for breakfast. So we got a little bit of time in the morning to, you know, talk with our peers and also eat breakfast. And then once it was 7:45, everyone would be ready to go. We all had different buses because we all went to different work sites on different days, and then we just kind of rotated on our schedule. So we would have to get a big gallon cooler and our lunches and a Gatorade cooler with ice so that we would have water, cold water, and our lunch for when we're at the work site, because that's where we eat. So then we would drive to our work site. Depending on where we were going, sometimes it would take 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it would take 2 hours to get to our work site. So it depended on where we were going. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be showing you both work sites. But just know that the schedule is exactly the same every single day, other than the fact of where we were going. During the first week, our site was someone's house, and we were working on a lovely woman named Lucy's roof because she had hired contractors after the hurricane, and they didn't do it correctly because she could only afford what she could afford, and they didn't do it right. So we came in and we helped fix her roof, and that consisted of getting up the layer of cement that the contractors put there because they put it on top of sealant and all types of other stuff, and cement only sticks to cement, and so we had to do all that. Then for the next week, we went to 3 different locations. We went 2 days to the farm, we went 2 days to El Yunque National Rainforest, and then we went 1 day to the mangroves. So I can show you a little cute montage of all of them, but my favorite one was probably El Yunque, so we'll probably stick with that one. And at El Yunque, we hiked up a trail that was close to the public because we were going to help clear it out since the hurricane had pushed fallout and all types of stuff over it, and it still wasn't repaired by the time we went there. So we hiked up all the way to where the mountain was, which I think was about a mile and some change, almost 2 miles. And we had to carry up all of our equipment. So that was our power tools, our shovels, our water, and our backpacks filled with lunch and stuff. So we hiked up all the way to the top. Well, not to the top, but like to where the last group had left off, and then we started clearing. And every day from 12 to 1 we would eat lunch. So wherever we were, whether it was on the roof, in El Yunque, at the farm, wherever we were, we would eat lunch for an hour and then get back to work. So normally for lunch they packed us a sandwich, a bag of chips, some type of like granola bar ish, and yeah, that's what we would have for lunch every single day. And we would also take naps during lunch because we were really tired. It was a lot of hard work that we were doing, so we would just lay down and go to sleep no matter where we were. We need a nap, okay? Then we would work some more, and we would work up until 4 o'clock, and then at 4 o'clock we would leave our work site and head back home. If we were lucky, we'd probably leave a little bit before 4 o'clock, depending on how long it takes us to get back, because we would want to be back as early as possible so that we could sneak in a shower before our community meeting with Nahama, which is the organization that we were working with at Puerto Rico. Once they dropped us off, we would run upstairs as fast as we possibly could and take a shower, change our clothes, and just feel refreshed and more awake. And then at 5:30 every single day, we had a Nahama meeting. And at our Nahama meeting, we would talk about things like how our experiences were, and just like what we learned and what we hope to learn, and just did team building activities. And honestly, it was pretty fun, and I learned a lot about my teammates during those activities, and I got a chance to, reflect on the day and reflect on my experience that far. Then directly after our Nahama meeting, we would have dinner. Dinner was supposed to be at 6:30 every single night, but it kind of changed between 6 and 6:30 because some nights the Nahama meeting would end early, and then we were just able to go to the buffet and eat dinner. So for dinner every night, we would probably have some type of meat, whether that be curry chicken or regular chicken. We would definitely have rice. Sometimes we'd have beans, and we would also have maduros, which is like plantain that are fried, and I think we even had tostones once. And then sometimes we would have salad. So after dinner, which would be around 6:30, sometimes 7, we were able to do whatever we wanted. However, we had a curfew. One day out of the whole trip, after dinner, I did community laundry. So every single day we had to wear our Nahama shirts. So they obviously get really dirty and sweaty and stinky, and we only get 2 of them. So what we did was community laundry, where a group of 3 people out of our whole entire cohort would wash everyone's clothes, and we would just take turns. So one of the days I did that. There were days that I went to CVS and CVS or Walmart. There were days where I just hung out with friends. There were days when I went out to a bar. After we either went out and had a good time or stayed in and relaxed, we would go to sleep and then start the whole day over again. And every day was like that, all the weekdays, that is. So now let me tell you about the weekends. So we kind of figured that the weekends were going to be our free days and that we would be able to do whatever we wanted to, but that's not how it went at all. So over the weekend, they didn't feed us breakfast, and so a lot of people did go out and get breakfast for themselves. I was not one of those people. And then we were supposed to meet in front of the dorm building at I think it was 9 a.m. So on Saturday, we met at around 9 a.m. in front of the dorm building, and then we all walked to the train, got on the train, which was a really cool experience, and headed to a bomba class. And so we took a pretty long bomba class, and it was really fun. We also got to hear live Hibaro music, and it was just really cool. And I enjoyed myself and embarrassed myself, and I'm not the greatest dancer, but it was really, really fun. After our bomba class, we ate lunch in the studio, and they provided lunch. So we had a sandwich and probably some chips and juice, I think. So after lunch, we all went on the train and went back to the same stop that we came from, and then got on a bus, on a local bus, to go to Old San Juan. Once we arrived at Old San Juan, we all kind of split up into our friendship groups and then kind of just explored. So my friends and I, we went to El Morro and we took a lot of pictures. We didn't get the chance to go into the castle, but we went and we walked around. We made it to the top. We saw the entrance to the castle, and then we kind of head back in an Uber to meet up with our group again at 4 because they were providing dinner for us at this restaurant. After, I ended up walking the streets some more with my friends, and then I just headed home in an Uber with 2 other friends. And that was my Saturday. So then on Sunday, we all had to go find our own breakfast. Once again, I didn't. I ate some Fig Newtons in my room with some Diet Snapple and called it a morning. And then we all headed to the beach. I decided not to swim this whole entire trip for multiple reasons. I just didn't swim, but I relaxed. I read a book. I talked to people, and I actually ended up making really good friends that day. Just sitting out and talking to new people. And yeah, so it was a really fun day. And then after, we got on a bus and we went to another restaurant in Carolina, I believe. Those were our weekends. That was a week in the life of a volunteer in Puerto Rico, and I wish I had more clips, but when you're so on the go and so busy in schedule, it's really hard to catch it all on camera. But I definitely wanted to share this experience with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you've ever volunteered in a different country or in a different state than your home state. And yeah, tell me about your experience. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.